Hi everyone, this is Swati, the face behind and the voice behind Tinted Doodles. Welcome to Tuvi World Watercolor Month Challenge 2022. I'm going to be taking a short tutorial on painting this beautiful wave. Here is the reference for it. You can take a screenshot and draw it along with me. So I'm going to start with drawing the horizon and just making a very rough sketch of the wave, just the boundary of it, of how it should look. This is where the wave is folding, so even the foam I will just take it down, and below wherever I feel like there should be a hard and crisp wave ending, I will just note that down. You do not have to draw it at all. If the reference picture is there right in front of you, we can always make it work. This will be how the wave folds. So I'm just creating that angled with my pencil shade, just so that when I'm working with my brush, I know how the strokes should be. Now I will just shade the part of the wave where I want my paints to be maximum. You can skip this step if you do not follow such a method, but I like to just shade it more so that I know that while I'm painting where I should add more pigments and where it should be left white. Also, this gives me a little bit more judgment before I start painting of how my final product would look because of the pencil shade that I do. Now I'll take the needle eraser and just run it across my paper. I'll keep this swatch for reference here and start applying water onto my paper. I'm using a flat brush. You can use any brush that you have. I have applied a lot of water. Until the paper is soaking in water, I'll just ready my pans. So this is the watercolor set from Waves palette from Tuvi. I'll be using only this palette for painting this waves. And here is the swatch card for the same, and it's the same order. So I'll just this is how I ready my paints. So once this is done, the paper, the water is still getting soaked in. I think now it's good to get started with. For the sky, I would be going ahead and putting a very little wash of ultramarine. So I'll take ultramarine on my palette, and you can see that I have put it in an inclination angle so that the paints can drop down. So I'll start with the sky. Okay, so keep in mind that it should be darker on the top, and while it is moving towards the horizon, it should be very much dull or lighter in shade. That's how we can show that the sky is ending. Okay. For the same, I'll just mix a little bit of Persian blue. Okay, I love how much see, like this, I'll just add some clouds to this. Okay, let the paints flow. Now that this is happening, I'll get started with the wave. So as per the reference picture here, it is full of a very beautiful foam color of the sea, and I'm going to get it from the turquoise blue here. So let me take that on my palette. You see, I already have that shade, so I'll just mix a little bit more of Persian blue, and here it is. So first I will just get a very much gradient wash. Okay, now once this is done, I will take more of Persian blue for a darker shade and just put wherever I like to have the softer shades of the stroke for the sea. The shading that we had done earlier, that comes in handy if you still have it visible. For me, most of the things are already gone, but yeah, I still remember from what is there on my reference. Okay, do have your paper towel handy, just so that it is easier to lift off the water from your brushes. Yeah, now that this is done, I'll get started with the wave. You can see that it's dry right now, so you can continue to just paint with the same, or you can also mix a little bit, wet your paper a little. So I'll go ahead and just do a very thin wash for here. Yeah, okay, we are good. So for the wave, I'll be taking emerald green and the ocean green, actually lots of ocean green and a very much little tint of emerald green, and along with that I'm going to take my sea blue, which is okay. Yeah, this is a very, I'm happy with this mix. So I'll first start with applying to the entire of my wave. So from here, whenever you're adding the colors, make sure to run your brush along the same in the same direction that the waves you want to be in. That actually helps a lot when in your final painting. Now it might not be evident, but once the paint dries, it will definitely be visible. Okay, so I'm good with this wash for now. Now I'll take more of Persian blue and mix it with emerald green to get a darker shade. You can see how dark and gorgeous it is. I'll apply it here. Yeah, you see how that's turning out. This is the upward movement I would like to keep, and while I go towards here, I'll take more of my peacock blue. This is one of my favorite shades, and we'll move it about in this direction. Okay, so now I can see that my paper below is getting kind of dry, which is fine. But if you still like to keep your paper wet, you can always take some more of this color and start it over. Now I want to merge this darker shades that I have added with the base layer. So let's start with here and okay, that looks good. And for this green, I do still have it here. Here I do want to keep it still a little bit lighter shade. So wherever I want more dark, I can just go ahead and add it with my brush. This much part I want it to be more white. So I'm just merging it with my colors. Okay. Now that this is over, I'm going to take more of this, mix it with little of my Persian peacock blue, which is already here, and smudge it here. Okay, now we have the back portion of it still remaining. Before that, while my waves are still wet, I would like to add more depth to it. So I'm taking my peacock blue, mixing it with emerald green, and to this I will add Persian blue. Yeah, I'm happy with this dark shade. Now I've taken the small round size brush, so with this I'll be adding okay. Yeah, you can just keep the tip here, give it a gentle nudge and pull it up. Okay. Yeah, if it is too much, if you feel this is a very harsh edge, you can always smudge it again. It's all blue, so there is no worry that it will mix up or become a dirty color. That's one of the best working with just the waves palette, you know. Okay, now I want here to be more darker, so I'll mix the same. Take more of this and Persian blue. So for the very dark shade, I'll take indigo and mix it with emerald green and ocean green. Yep. Okay, so this is how I will just increase wherever I want the darker shade to be available. I will add it there. Okay, and soften the edges wherever you feel it's too dark. In fact, I actually like hard edges. If you have seen my paintings, I do like hard edges because that just helps me define the wave in a very beautiful way. So I'll just look how the reference is, and based on that I'm creating this white leaving with a negative space. I'm trying to add more Okay, with the same you can see that I'm just adding the same color again and again, that is working with the tonal contrast of it, and wherever I feel like more shade is needed, I will go ahead and add it there. Keeping your paper wet actually is not a necessary step for this, because you can see that my paper is not wet, and yet the colors are smudging as per our liking. This is the darkest shade, and I'm going to dab it here, because my wave is actually ending when I put the wave, and I want that reflection to be very much particular. And with a very light hand, you see how I'm keeping my brush, it's way back to the end of it. So with a very loose hand, you just have to add these strokes like this, and then dab, press and dab. If you feel like this is like I do not like it much, so just go ahead and smudge it with the background. Okay, now till this is there, I will get started with my this background for it. We still have sea there, and that color needs to be somewhat similar or a darker shade of the color used for sky. My sky is already a little bit dark, so I will just take indigo and mix it with ultramarine. Okay, to this color I'll just start with the back. So this needs to be a horizon line. Okay, here I'm still going ahead with a smaller brush only, because I want to create this kind of negative effect for the waves directly. I do not want to paint them. So this is how much I'm just gonna add a tint of green here. Okay, now back to the same shade, and here is how much it is going to go up, and from here it is going to come down like this. So my will be till here. Yours do not have to be the same. Okay, in fact here this is a very particular edge it is having, so from here it's starting till here. I do not want to do that much specific. I want this much to be the foam of my painting, so I'll just go ahead and okay, To that I'm going to add more ultramarine actually, because it's gonna dry a little bit light. Okay, now that it is still wet, what you should do is, to get a good texture, you can always use a tissue paper, crumble it and just do it like this. Okay, you see that it also creates this kind of a blobble effect, which is good for waves. Now I'll just take very little water and very little paint and lot of water, and just give this. This is for the waves, because even the foam will actually, you know, have a color, though it looks white to us, it does have a color. So I'm gonna lift that color up, and to this I'm going to add the sea green. Okay, this is where my wave is folding, so the back of it needs to be little white, so I'm just gonna remove that much. There was too much water on my brush, so it went onto paper. No worries, I just fix it. That looks better. Now I'm going to take my flat brush, because I love lifting with it. You just, yeah, see, you just take it, apply a little bit of pressure, and you can lift it easily. Okay, with the help of same brush I'm just gonna bring the shades in little, and yeah, that looks good. Now for waves I'll take more of ultramarine and lot of water, and just add wherever my waves are. The darker shade for it, and actually for this we want indigo, more of indigo, and here it's the thickest, so see. Okay, now that I have added this much here, I'll take a small my small round brush. Now you can do this, just okay. So wash your brush again and repeat this again. Okay, now I'm taking the same old mixture which is here, and very carefully add wherever I want to actually have hard edges. So here is one place where I want to have a hard edge. Again, you can mix it with the background. Okay, now you can see that we have worked a lot without using a white yet. We have most of our colors, whatever we want in here. I'll just take more water in my brush and try to smudge it even more. Yeah, looks good. Now here, this transition from here to here is a little bit too evident, so I'll take more of this color and now take ocean green. Yeah, wherever I want to still keep the white, the lightest shade, I will still continue to keep that. Just keep in mind that because it's a wave, it need not be the same as how I am doing. It can completely be your own combination or from imagination. Now for the last part, I'm going to mix some turquoise and Persian blue. Okay, and then getting started with adding of the sea foam. Okay, so I'm just going to take my brush, and wherever I feel like it should be more of the foam, I'm going to add it there. Okay, once this is over, what I like to do is, you can either finish a painting like this, or I also, if it is too much of hard edges, I like to take some water in my brush and just run it across like this. So this wets the paper immediately, and the hard edges, whatever is there, that actually gets mixed up. Okay, I'm gonna stop it there. Okay, so now that this much is done, the only part remaining is adding some of the whites. That is for adding whites to the wave. Either you can stop it right here, or you can go ahead and add more of it. I want to add some more depth to this wave, so tilt your hand wherever you feel the wave should be. That will help you a lot in creating that texture. So I have to let it dry, but I'm just going to okay, that looks good. Now with the darkest shade of indigo, actually, I'm just gonna draw an outline here, because okay, you can add the same outline on the other waves if you want, like this one I'm going to do with the ocean green. Okay. This looks pretty good. Okay, this looks good to me. So that is it. If you want, you can soften the edges again, but I think I would like to keep it the same way. The last part is adding few birds. I have started it very recently. In fact, I used to not add those many birds before. So I'm taking indigo, and this is my liner brush. Okay, so I'm going to take indigo. You can take more of the white wash and just add or splatter few paint here for the waves part, but I'd not like to add white in my waves, so I'm just going to keep it the same. You can also add a little bit of brush strokes with white here to show the reflection, the sun directly hitting on the waves, and that creates a very beautiful reflection, so you can show that from here. But I'm going to stop my painting right now, and let's peel it off. You have to wait till your entire painting is complete for doing the tape peel, else there is a slight chance that it will tear your paper if the paper is still wet. This was okay, and these are the shades that I have used. You can see mainly these are the three. I used the same for mixing my palette, and the main colors that I have used are ocean green, turquoise, Persian blue, indigo, and emerald.